The study said that it was improved because of the policy.
And are their birth rates?
Wait, can I actually answer his question?
Unbelievable.
You do realize policies can be defunded and other things can change, right? Like this is again like saying like, oh man, dude, my health really improved when I took those antibiotics, but now my health has gone down and it's been like a month. What's happened? And it's like, whoa, you only took antibiotics.
Andrew Wilson from The Crucible humiliates woke Vaush live in this heated debate as Andrew Wilson and Vaush clash over socialist policies and birth rates. And Vaush brings a weak argument to the table, and Andrew Wilson beats him down so bad, he's laughing at Vaush. So this is a fun one, folks. Let's jump in.
So if you Google, like, maternal leave effect on fertility rates, from what I say, just literally scrolling through, there are dozens of articles. It seems like a really clear-cut answer. Of course, no one thing can fix everything. You have to try multiple things, and oftentimes these programs end up getting defunded too. For example, a whole bunch of the like paternity leave and like subsidy programs and a bunch of like healthcare stuff in like the UK and Sweden and other countries has been defunded from right-wing governments. So even if there is a short-term benefit, it kind of gets cut out in the long term by the fact that there are people like Andrew who will gut those policies. I think that if you care about preserving birth rates and making things better, like it's literally like you Google the study, this improves the thing. So like, yeah, you know, pretty simple policy. I don't know why Andrew wants to keep mothers away from their children, but you know,
what's the most interesting here is that this country that is cited, Norway, is on the decline in its birth rates. There is no reversal. He's lying to you again. What he's trying to do is he's trying to say that there are some policies which can mitigate the decline, which was already conceded to 15 times. He has not given us even a collection. And I said this word, the word collection of policies even, which would actually have a reversal effect, because all he can come up with is materialists throw fucking money at it. But every place that we've thrown money at it, there is no fucking reversal. They're still on the downward trend. The data shows this overwhelmingly. What he's doing is a red herring, typical red herring, and he filibustered for like 5 minutes to read this and still never actually showed us a reversal. Look at Norway stats for yourself. They're on the downward trend. Are they not, Vaush?
Huh?
Is Norway's birth rates not on the downward trend? The example you just used.
The study said that it was improved because of the policy.
And are their birth rates?
Wait, can I actually answer his question?
Unbelievable.
You do realize policies can be defunded and other things can change, right? Like this is again like saying like, oh man, dude, my health really improved when I took those antibiotics, but now my health has gone down and it's been like a month. What's happened? And it's like, whoa, you only took antibiotics twice and you haven't taken them at all for the past 3 weeks.
So has the policy been removed?
So, well, in a lot of cases, it has been defunded.
Well, in Norway. Has it in Norway?
I don't know about Norway specifically.
Well, then why would you use this as an example for your example, stupid?
Because you don't seem to understand. I know you don't actually give up arguments. I know you don't actually.
Wait, hang on, stop. Vaush,
well, wait, can I get a closer?
Of course, you guys will both get closing statements. Vaush, I totally understand the... What?
Was that not his closer?
No, Vaush, I totally understand the point you're trying to make, but he did ask you a direct question about whether currently Norway's
and by the way, paternity leave is still fully funded in Norway. Just so letting you know.
Yeah, Andrew, I'm happy to answer your question. The problem here, and he's aware of this, which is why he sounds like a giggling psychopath whenever he makes the bad points, is that no, you can never look at the effects of policy by looking at a policy that was passed in 1990 and then going, oh, well, 30 years later, things are down again. What you try to do is check to see if there's an effect that can be correlated, or better even yet, like demonstrated to be causatively associated with the policy in particular. For example, imagine if you were to take a look at like, hey, does Biden's child tax credits lower child poverty? If you go back to the COVID pandemic, right, or the COVID crisis, and you ask, hey, did this policy lower child poverty? The answer is yes, it cut it in half. But now that's not in effect, and other things have happened. So it's like, oh, well, what happened? I thought it fixed child poverty. In reality, the standards that Andrew is setting for analyzing policy would not work and don't apply anywhere, which is why...
These are all fair points, but I still think you should answer his initial question.
He doesn't do that.
He
doesn't know how. You don't even know what the fucking question is. You're so stupid, dude.
What is the question?
You don't even know the question. You're answering a question, you don't even know what it is.
The question.
I feel like Vaush is one of those guys who is more interested in trying to and trying to win rather than make his point. You know those type of people. You know when they just try to beat you at anything, and you're like this little point, and then it's like, well, like what's the whole point of what we were talking about? Is like Andrew Wilson is laughing at the guy, you know, having to remind him about what we're actually talking about. You can always tell when someone is not really debating in good faith when they're just trying to win those little jabs and those little and then try to hang it over you as if that's the win. But it's like you're not going after the point. You're just going after the win. You're trying to win the battles and not win the war. I kind of feel like Vaush is one of those characters. Let me know in the comments how you feel, but I've talked to people like this before, and yeah, he reminds me awfully a lot. Leave it a like. Let's get back in.
Is Norway's birth rate going down? Do you agree with that or disagree with that?
I think technically it's actually risen in the past couple of years. The last data point was from 2023 where they had birth rates per 1,000 people.
Is it on a downward trend or not, Vaush?
Trend based on what?
Based on the fact that it keeps going down as part of a trend.
Well, over the past 5 years, it's actually gone up. Curious.
But the trend shows it going down. And what did the Norway analysts show?
The trend of the past 5 years is that it's going up.
Well, let's take a look and even see if this trend is true.
Alex, this is literally never going to end. I brought up an article that proves every point I had.
No, it doesn't prove anything.
It's 2.5 hours.
You just read about. You just read it.
He doesn't care about kids. He doesn't care about God.
Stop. We do have to get into closing statements. We're 2 hours and a half in. You, Andrew, said you want to keep it to no more than 2 hours. Vaush, you said you want to wrap up at 2 hours and a half mark. So both of you guys want to wrap up. I promise you can make all the points you want in your closing statements. I have to go. It's 2.5 hours in. I thought it'd be 2. Oh shit. Do you have a minute or two to make a closing statement?
Quick though.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Literally, like you can Google policies to help fertility rates. Oh, bammo, there's solutions. All of Andrew, the reason why he does like the psychotic laugh and the reason he's chain smoked like 20 cigs throughout the entirety of this conversation is because his only actual like prescription is that he's a fascist and that's it. He doesn't give a shit about anything. He doesn't care about God. He's not an Orthodox. He has no real beliefs. Like most fascists, he believes that the world is anti-empiricist, that everyone else is just as slimy as he is. In reality, it's just him and he's alone. He has severe interpersonal problems with others. He clearly can't get along with me, and I'm a very easy guy to like. Like, I don't know what to do when you pull up a book that says this policy works, and he's like, well. So, like, I think that if there's any resounding point to be made from him, it's immense personal unlikability. And for me, it's a set of sensible policies that you can adopt if you care about producing more children.
Okay. Thank you, Vaush.
That's my rational argument.
Do you want to really quickly plug your channel before you go?
I'm also Vaush.
All right, cool. I appreciate you coming on. I thought this was a really good discussion.
And I have my closer now.
Yeah, of course.
I understand that Vaush may not stick around for it, but as of 2022, there were a total of 51,480 newborns in Norway. That might sound like a lot, but it actually marks a drastic drop in the fertility rate within the country, and it's on the downward trend. This is according to Norway's own stats, as much as the Gish Gallop goes. But let's go back into this. Vaush was blown out on ethics. He had no argument there. All criticisms directed at me were equally directed at him. He said that I'm not an Orthodox Christian. He has nothing to back that up whatsoever. It's just some declarative statement that he makes up. He's called me a fascist, but when we were trying to go through that, he ran from it as fast as he possibly could, tried to filibuster the time as much as he could. He also, at the start of this, remember, said the birth rate itself is no problem. It's no issue. It's not even anything you got to worry about. By the end of the debate, he's scrambling desperately because his logic led him to notate this one key point. If the immigrant countries also have a below average birth rate, this is Vaush's words, you're not going to be able to migrate them anymore. We have a big problem. He said that himself. So finally, we get to the concession. This is an issue. When I ask him, what is your solution to this? Which I would have been happy to give mine. Instead, he says something mild like, we'll throw some fucking money at it. And hopefully, even though that does a small mitigation to the problem, but does not reverse the trend, we will continue on this evermore, throwing materialism at this, even though it has done absolutely nothing in any of these Western nations to reverse the trend whatsoever. In fact, I would also say Vaush is literally one of the most bad faith opponents I've ever debated with. But I'm actually fine with that. I don't really care that much because his arguments weren't very good. So ultimately, all he had was you're mean and a fascist and hard to get along with. I've gotten along with Vaush fine for a year. He's been on the Crucible multiple times, never had a bad engagement with him behind the scenes. Total fabrication and bullshit there as well. Not a single problem with the guy behind the scenes. He says, I have issues with interpersonal relationships, yet he's come on my show multiple times without any of these interpersonal relationships. What this is just typical over-talkifying, right? The mod allowed way too much of that. That's his show. I can't say anything about that, but my arguments were far better, and he never did make an actual demonstration for why I was wrong about any singular point that I made.
Now, folks, I don't know about you, and I don't know if you noticed this between Vaush and Andrew Wilson, but there's a difference in how they react when they're talking. And you can tell this about an individual when they're speaking. If they really believe in what they're saying, if they're really confident, how they feel about the other person, they give it away. I mean, you can see when Vaush is insulting Andrew Wilson with his ad hominems, you know, he's a fascist and he hates this and he hates that. Oh, well, you just, you know, think this and you're just this. You hear this from, you know, the race baiters, the feminists, people on the far left who just gaslight everybody. You're just this, as a means to disqualify your argument to begin with. But when you look at Andrew Wilson, he replies, he doesn't try to ad hominem anything that Vaush said. He doesn't try to, you know, break it down to anything. He takes it at face, and you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. And you can see how Andrew Wilson reacts to Vaush's statements. He's calm, he's cool, you know, he's kept together. And when Vaush just tries to undermine, you can always tell that about somebody. If they really don't have the ammunition they think they have, is when, because otherwise they would simply rest on those laurels. They'd be like, oh, you didn't prove this and this. I don't need to say anything, right? But when you can't rest on those laurels, that's when you see someone trying to cut you out at your ankles from underneath. Oh, and that's when they, you know, go along with all those dismissive arguments through those ad hominems that Vaush just did that you saw, folks. So in my opinion, yeah, I'm going to say Andrew Wilson came out on top on this one. Like I said, calm, cool, better points about everything. And as far as I've seen, folks, from all the trends, yeah, populations everywhere, not looking too good. And there's really no answer for it. And if you're going to say there's just a blip on the radar that's going to disprove everything, that's a pretty weak argument, because the other 99% of the entire advanced world is all having this issue. And there's not exactly a good answer in sight, as Andrew Wilson showed in this video. But folks, thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought about what Andrew Wilson had to say to this woke Vaush individual. I haven't seen him too many times, but yeah, he always seems a little bit off. Thanks for watching. Take care, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.